Now, there are many two-word combos that you can say to a gamer to get their excitement brewing. Some of the best examples include boss fights, experience points, Easter eggs, or skill trees. Still, if we add another word into there and make open world game a 3-part trilogy, well, you have a pretty unbeatable combination which will entice players and bring them in by the bucket load. And you know what? In these open worlds are enemies, and some of them, well, they're bloody crazy, my friend. So let's take a look at them. As I'm Jules, and this is WhatCulture.com, and these are the 10 craziest open world video game enemies you must find. Number 10. CHORT, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Now, hunting down wild beasties isn't just something you can do in the Witcher series, it is the whole bloody point. Donning the swords of Big G and performing your monster slaying duties is an essential part of the CD Projekt Red games, and this creature from The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is one of the most fascinating. Now, CHORTs are massive goat-like creatures with horns, sharp teeth, almost humanoid bodies, and monstrous tempers. However, the CHORT makes it on here specifically because of one very unique encounter. You see, players who want to cut corners and make some quick cash can do so in White Orchard by slaying cows, making money off their corpses and then doing it again and again once they've respawned. However, the devs made this task tougher in a patch, which forced players who performed this trick to come toe-to-toe with a level 27 CHORT. Talk about being taught a very harsh lesson, right? Now, this special CHORT aside, the monster is still a rare creature in the game, but is definitely worth seeking out for its awesome design and rather fun challenge. And there's also an additional, even rarer and even larger relative to the CHORT fiend named the, and I don't know how to pronounce this, so just put it up on screen. However, one has yet to appear in the Witcher games. Fingers crossed that it shows up in the remake or indeed a sequel. Number 9. Frost Giant, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Now, fantasy lands are the kinds of places that you need to be equipped for if you want to survive for very long, and it should come as no surprise that Tamriel, the home place of the Elder Scrolls series, has some very nasty baddies roaming all about the place, and there are plenty of note, but the Frost Giants of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim are absolutely up there. Now, regular giants are already game enders in their own right, but these creatures go even further. They have more health than the one-shot kings and even do more damage. Also, don't forget those frost stats which make them naturally immune to frost attacks but pretty susceptible to fire. Now, these monsters were brought into the game via the Dawnguard expansion, which populated the glacial Forgotten Vale with these creatures. The most famous of these giants is named Karstag, who made his first appearance for the franchise in the Elder Scrolls 3 Blood Moon expansion. He can also be found in the Skyrim Dragonborn expansion, which sees his ghostly spirit become an absolute nightmare of a boss fight. Overall, the Frost Giants live up to their namesake, as they're chilly customers who you've really got to prep for in order to tackle. What a thrill it is to finally take one down. Number 8. The Saint Denis Vampire, Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2 certainly has pretty great enemy AI, and you can encounter some challenging animals out in the wild, but if you're looking for exciting monster enemies, you're better off grabbing a different game. However, if you have your cake and want to eat it as well, encountering a deadly monster is entirely possible in this good old-fashioned cowboy game, because enter the Saint Denis Vampire. This genre-breaking enemy can be located, unsurprisingly, in the city of Saint Denis. After finding 5 pieces of writing spread across the city, you'll discover the location of the blood-loving creature. Visit this place between midnight and 1 AM and you'll see the Nosferatu-like killer at work. This encounter is suitably creepy as you stumble across the devilish fiend whilst they're sucking on a fresh human corpse. From there, you can either leave them be or pick a fight. Now, this creature of the night has been responsible for 6 deaths, so stopping them is very much the moral choice. Plus, who doesn't want to be a vampire slayer? Rockstar are known for putting paranormal Easter eggs in their games, and this encounter is up there with the damn best of them. Number 7. The Sea Dragon Leviathan, Subnautica. So the sea is a pretty terrifying place, full of unexpected horrors, and Subnautica takes that fear of the deep ocean and brings it to life, with the dreaded leviathans being the apex predators of this watery world. But even among them, there is a hierarchy, because remember, there is always a bigger fish. Sea dragon leviathans are a colossal species and are the game's largest aggressive creatures. You do not want to tangle with one of them, as it can utterly obliterate you, no questions asked. They have a bite capable of an instant kill, fire breath, and plenty more hunting power at their disposal. Oh, and if this creature wasn't already scary enough for you, guess what it eats? It's Reaper Leviathans. Yeah, one of the scariest creatures in the game is what these colossal sea creatures like to chow down on. There are only 3 of them in the title, but they are worth seeking out, because encountering one of these beasts is indeed something you'll struggle to survive. Still, it's an enemy you've just got to see for the sheer spectacle. Number 6. CHESTY, Fable 2, and Fable 3. Gamers are so used to popping open chests in fantasy games that it's basically second nature, but sometimes these boxes bite back. Mimics that disguise themselves as chests only to attack the player appear in titles like Dark Souls or even Dungeons & Dragons. Still, the quirky, wacky world of Fable took their evil chest in a rather different direction. CHESTY is, well, a treasure chest, but not an ordinary one. No, they are a living chest. This object has a spirit inside it, and unfortunately, they're not entirely stable. You see, CHESTY is a sociopathic and murderous character with a surprising level of intelligence who appears in both Fable 2 and Fable 3. Finding this unique and hilarious enemy is a real task in Fable 2, as you'll need to purchase Brightwood Tower after the game's story events are over. Once you buy this incredibly pricey property, you'll start the quest that puts you in the path of this crazy enemy. In Fable 3, however, you'll run into CHESTY by entering the secret Sunset House, where you'll play a game of chess with him, albeit with combat and death. This rare enemy is a textbook example of Fable humor, and lovers of the series are definitely missing out if they don't get to meet them. Number 5. The MIRELURK Queen. Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. Apocalypses are unpleasant, no matter what they are, but if you chuck nuclear fallout into the mix, you've got a real recipe for nightmare fuel. And the Fallout series speculates on the kind of monsters that could live in such an irradiated world, and the MIRELURK Queen is one of their most dangerous. Stumbling across these grotesque crustaceans is something you can do in Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. MIRELURKs themselves have been part of the franchise since Fallout 3, and these mutated lobsters aren't just scary, but pretty tough if you're underprepared. And their queen, well, it's the utter apex of these abominations. She can come at you with all sorts of dizzying attacks, with powerful appendages, acidic spitting actions, and even the ability to produce a wave of hatchlings to make the odds even more unfair against you. Now, these monsters are rarer than the standard MIRELURK, so getting the chance to encounter one is a gift in itself, although actually fighting it makes it feel less like a gift and more like a punishment. You can also see this creature go even further up the food chain with the Nuka World variant, the NukaLurk Queen. This monster is also unbelievably powerful, and she's one of a kind. Number 4. Professor Pig, Batman Arkham Knight. So Batman has a lot of incredibly creepy villains in his roster, but to be fair, as a superhero, that kind of comes with the territory. The Batman Arkham series flawlessly captured the Caped Crusaders' array of crazy bad guys, but still one of the absolute scariest and weirdly most exciting was the demented Professor Pig, who featured as a most wanted criminal in Batman Arkham Knight. This opera-loving psychopath was a deranged scientist who would kidnap people and perform invasive surgeries on them. These procedures turned them into his personal brand of mindless servants known as the Dollatrons. And if this wasn't bad enough, he also murdered anyone who didn't meet his perfectionist standards. Getting to confront this villain required you to complete a slew of deep tissue scans on Pig's victims, who were strewn about Gotham in pretty monstrous displays. The brutality of these investigations really sets you up for the eventual horror fest showdown with this enemy. The encounter with this obscure yet captivating DC villain had you battling against his mindless slaves and being forced to listen to the terrifying vocal performance from Dwight Schultz. It's one of Batman Arkham Knight's best, Gotham's most wanted missions. Well, if you like a bit of the spooky stuff, that is. This monster absolutely fits the insane enemy's bill in the most literal of ways. Number 3. WARDEN, Minecraft. The simple sandbox title that revolutionized the gaming landscape appeases all sorts of players. Do you want to build stuff? Well, that's got you covered. Do you want to explore new lands and dig deep into mines? Yeah, you can do that. Do you want to battle against powerful enemies that will make you want to break your keyboard? Well, yeah, if you want to do that, yeah, sure, go ahead. Now, while the most famous boss enemy in this iconic game is the Ender Dragon, there's actually a creature that goes even harder than that beloved creature. The Warden is an incredibly powerful mob located in the deep, dark biome. It has more health than the Ender Dragon and Wither combined, meaning that it can take one hell of a beating. But it doesn't just take damage, it dishes it out, as this monster can take lots of hearts with its melee attacks, but can also hit you with a sonic boom ranged attack that cannot be dodged. You're really in for a task when it comes to winning against this beastie. Minecraft may be a game primarily aimed at kids, but Mojang wanted to test its player base's limits with this one right here. Number 2. IGNEO TALUS, The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom. The latest installments of the Legend of Zelda series offer beautiful open-world versions of Hyrule that are full of enemies that you'll want to avoid encountering when you're low on weapons and meals. Many of these creatures, such as Lynels, Gleeoks, or Moldugas, could make it onto this list. However, this fiery version of an already impressive enemy from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom definitely takes the cake. Now, the regular stone Talus is a giant rock monster that flings boulders at you and can be a really fun fight, and you can definitely times that experience by 2 with the IGNEO TALUS, as it's the same thing, albeit now it's made out of molten rock. These colossal creatures can be found throughout the ELDEN Canyon. Taking them down can be a massive task, but the rewards you reap from defeating them are entirely worth the struggle. They're also far tougher than their stone counterparts, as landing on these creatures will set Link on fire. Ouch. There's even an additional level to this monster, as you can encounter an IGNEO TALUS Titan in the Champion's Ballad DLC. This version of the fiery stone beast is even bigger and offers even more spectacle and much more of a challenge. Also, don't forget that you can listen to the banging musical track TALUS Battle every single time you tangle with one of them. And number 1, ASTEL. NATURALBORN of the Void, Elden Ring. Now, one of the biggest selling points for the Soulsborne games is their optional boss encounters. These add a little extra challenge to those wanting to get as good as possible, and Elden Ring is no exception. The beautiful open world of the lands between is swarming with crazy enemies, from minor NPCs to massive boss battles, but one that truly stands out is this guy here, the NATURALBORN of the Void, to give him his full title. Now, it might not be the absolute hardest boss in the game, and many would agree that that title goes to Malenia, but he's still utterly ridiculous. And the difficulty on this guy is off the charts as he launches an array of unique attacks. He fires beams at the Tarnished, has a massive tail that he can use as a melee weapon, has dangerous pincers, and can even summon portals to fling objects. Additionally, his design is actually just really gnarly. It's a mix-up of body horror, creepy crawly insect influences, and cosmic motifs, looking like a full-on Lovecraftian dragonfly from beyond the stars. Elden Ring certainly has some unique boss battles, but this is truly one of a kind. Well, if you ignore the Star of Darkness variant, who's basically the same but a field boss as opposed to a legend boss. And there we go, my friends. Those were the 10 craziest open world game enemies you must find. I hope you enjoyed that, and let me know what you thought about it down in the comment section below. As always, I've been Jules. You can go follow me over on Instagram and Twitter, or X as we're calling it now, where it's at RetroJ, but the O is a 0. Hope to see you over there. Or you can swing by FGS, or the Future Game Show, where I'm doing all of my gaming content going forward. But before I go, I just want to say one thing. Hope you're treating yourself well, my friend, with love and respect, because you deserve the bloody best, alright? And do not let anything or anyone else tell you otherwise. You are a massive ledge, and I hope you're smashing it today. Big love to you. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.